How's it going there, football fans? Back at it with another DiGiorgio fantasy football video. And in this video, we're going to go over Drew Brees' retirement and what kind of fantasy implications that has in store for us this year. And we're also going to go over the Carson Wentz trade. Unfortunate, I did not mention that previously, but I'm going to go over it in this video. And we're also going to go over the Jonnu Smith signing over to New England. So yeah, it's gonna a lot of fun stuff for us to talk about. So I'll hop right into the Drew Brees retirement. And so first off, I gotta say, Drew Brees is a GOAT and one of my favorite players in the entire league. So it's really sad to see him retire, but he's had a great, long, prosperous career. So I mean, I can't give the guy a hard time. He gave everybody what we wanted. I mean, he's been a phenomenal football player. Started out his career with the Chargers and then moved on to the Saints, where he found tremendous success. Yeah, stand-up person, a legendary football player. He made the Aints the Saints. So yeah, just a true class act right there. So it's sad to see him go. I've had him on my team for years. But so since Drew Brees is going to be gone, what do the Saints do? They have Jameis Winston on their roster and Taysom Hill. So it's a very interesting predicament to watch here, and we're going to see it all unfold over the offseason. So I'll kind of get over both these guys and tell you how I feel about them being the starter for the New Orleans Saints. So start off with Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, he should be the heir to the throne, in my opinion. I do not know how he's gonna do, but I gotta believe Sean Payton wants to give him the chance. The last time he played, he threw for 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So it wasn't a great year fantasy wise. That's gonna get you by. That is feasible for a starter, but as a starting quarterback in the NFL, that is not really going to get the job done. So it's iffy there. Who knows if they're going to give him the opportunity to actually start. He has potential because he did learn from Drew Brees. He learned from him for the whole last year. So if you've seen Mahomes and you've seen Aaron Rodgers, they both have learned from great football players in Alex Smith and Brett Favre. So let's see what he can really do after getting some experience from a veteran in the league. And I don't know if you guys remember, but he has a cannon for an arm. And if he's throwing to Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith and some of these other guys, I really think he can do some damage on some of these secondaries in the league. So let's see how he turns out. I do not know how this would impact Alvin Kamara's fantasy projections, but this is what I pulled up from 2019, last time Jameis Winston started for a full year. So the starting back that year was Ronald Jones on the Buccaneers, and he got 6 touchdowns that year, 724 rushing yards. So that is worrying for Alvin Kamara owners. I mean, Alvin Kamara had 16 rushing touchdowns this year. So 16 to 6 is a big jump off, and you cannot afford to use a first or second or third round pick on a guy who's only going to get you 6 touchdowns for the year. That just doesn't get you the championship. So let's see how it turns out for Alvin Kamara. I do think Alvin Kamara is a fantastic football player, so I do not think he's going to drop down to 6 touchdowns, but I do think it could regress to even 8 if Jameis Winston is the starter, and so that is worrying. And I don't think it would be better with Taysom Hill as well. So I'll move on to Taysom Hill right here. I do think he'd be a competent starter in the NFL. I do not know if he has exactly what it takes as a typical quarterback to win games, but I do believe he has some great tools and skills to win games for his team in certain scenarios. He would be better as a change of pace quarterback for behind Jameis Winston, like how he was behind Drew Brees and kind of in there on those weird third downs and weird trick plays. I really think he's better in that type of role and not assuming a, quarterback one role on a team. But unless you're Lamar Jackson or you're Kyler Murray, I do not think you can just be running it all the time. I do not think that works. Look at Cam Newton. He was only able to sustain that for a year or two before that gave out on him, and he's trying to do that again. But look at his passing numbers. So you can be a running back all you want, but you need to be a quarterback in this league to get the job done. And let's see if Taysom Hill has it done, because I really want to see the guy succeed. I would love for Taysom Hill to win this job and be the starter and just kill it this year, be a top 15 quarterback. But I put my faith in a lot of people before, so let's just see how it pans out. I mean, Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, who are you going to go with? I got to believe Jameis Winston is ultimately going to win the job, unfortunately, over Taysom Hill. But I do believe Taysom Hill, if he is the starter, he's going to get you those rushing yards that Jameis Winston would not get you. So do I believe they are about the same fantasy-wise? Yes and no. Jameis Winston, I think he's a better passer. Taysom Hill, I think he's a better rusher. So what's better for your league? That's really the ultimate question there. So it's really crazy stuff to see Drew Brees retire. And we have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill as possible heirs to the throne. So we'll see what happens there. Carson Wentz traded to the Indianapolis Colts. And that is a shocker to some people, not a shocker to the others. I wouldn't say he's been a top quarterback since his MVP season. And even that season, he did get injured before, the whole Super Bowl run and stuff. But they wouldn't have got there without him. So he was a really good player for that team. And he was with Frank Reich at the time. And Frank Reich is now the head coach of Indianapolis. So they're reconnected. And maybe they can rekindle that spark that they had in Philadelphia. He led all the QBs in the league with the most pressures against him. And so that really doesn't help if you're trying to score fantasy points. So, I mean, just think about trying to do anything and having 300-pound men come strike you down and trying to just crush you and obliterate you. You can't get much done no matter what you're doing. So can't blame Carson Wentz in that aspect. I mean, that's not all on him. He's going to get demolished out there. He does not have time to throw, and if he is throwing, he's throwing into a bad situation, so there's going to be an interception. So sometimes he just has to hold on to the ball and hope that he doesn't fumble it. So I do think he can have more success with a better offensive line. So that's really exciting. Frank Reich, like I discussed earlier, I do think he's going to set him up for success. He did have him in Philadelphia, and now he's going to have him back in Indianapolis, and he chose to get him into Indianapolis. So I really do think he wants him to be the guy over there in Indy, and let's see what he can do. I mean, I really do think he's set up for success over there, and I do think he could have a very good year. Definitely a better year than the previous season. It's not looking too good for him there. Colts receivers are more talented, and their tight ends are more talented. So the receiving core over there can get the job done. That's all you can ask for as a quarterback. In Philadelphia, they didn't have any receivers to really help him out. No true number one wide receiver to actually help him out. He did have Zach Ertz, but you need some receiver to help you out. You can't just have one tight end, one guy, and that's your end all be all. That just does not work out for a team. So Carson Wentz is now the guy for the Colts. Jalen Hurts is now the guy for Philadelphia. as for now. So he's a second-round pick in 2020. Let's see if he's the guy. But I would assume not. They have the 6th overall pick in the draft, and there's a lot of good quarterbacks out there. I would not be surprised if they use their pick on a Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Or let's see what happens. But it's hard to ask a second round pick to be the guy for any organization. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. That offense is probably going to be stagnant, but they do have the 6th round pick. So if they choose to stay with Jalen Hurts and pick up a Devontae Smith, a Jalen Waddle, a Kyle Pitts, a Jamar Chase, they might have more success. But again, they do not have an O-line. Their defense isn't the best. So Jalen Hurts is not going to be set up for success. He does have wheels. He is a burner, but he's not Lamar Jackson. Unless you're Lamar Jackson, you're probably not going to get the job done in today's league. There's a new staff, so that's something to watch out for. Maybe that lights a fire under him, and they can actually make a more productive player. Jalen Hurts wasn't terrible last year by any means, but I do believe if you were asking him to be your franchise quarterback, he does need to give you more. He needs to be the guy to win you games no matter the circumstances on your team. So we'll see. We'll see there. So that goes over the Carson Wentz trade fantasy implications. So now I'm going to go over the Jonnu Smith signing to the Patriots. He got signed to the Patriots for a $12 million deal for 1 year. It's awesome. It's awesome for him. It's awesome for the Patriots. I think that's a win-win right there. Belichick knows how to use tight ends. Look at all the success with Gronk, even Hernandez, even though I don't know if I'm supposed to mention him nowadays. But he knows how to use tight ends. He definitely knows how to use tight ends, and it is going to be great for Jonnu Smith. He was on the Titans, and Ryan Tannehill was throwing to him, and they were able to find a lot of success over there. So you got to think with a better coach, at least, they are going to do great things over there. So let's see. Cam Newton just needs to get him the ball. He needs to give him the opportunities in the red zone. And if he is granted those opportunities, I think they are going to have major success, especially in the red zone. All those touchdowns in the end zone. It's going to be very nice for your fantasy team. You have him as your starting tight end. You're basically going to use him as a receiver, and he has above average blocking skills. So basically, big receiver. That's how I can sum up Jonnu Smith. So that's what they're going to use him like. And he has the potential to be a top 5 tight end in this league. We only have to worry about Cam Newton, like I said earlier. So we'll see how this all plays out. But yeah, Drew Brees retired. Carson Wentz was traded. And Jonnu Smith is on a new team. All crazy stuff. And as free agency cracks off here on Wednesday, it is going to be a fire sale, firestorm. It is going to be a complete cluster, and it's going to be exciting stuff to watch. So as all these things are happening, I'm going to be giving you guys updates, and it's going to be very entertaining to watch. There's going to be different faces on a bunch of different teams, and the 2021 football year is going to be like unlike any other. I'm really excited to watch that with you guys. And I'm going to recap all of this off-season stuff with you guys on YouTube and on my website, DeGiorgioFantasyFootball.com. I'm going to have a spreadsheet on there with a whole bunch of statistics that you can't find anywhere else. So definitely check that out. Stay updated with the channel. If you liked what you watched today, give me a like, comment, maybe even subscribe. But yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good one, everybody.